Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Hollywood After Dark. Tonight we're going to be talking with the man, the myth, the legend, Mikey Sutton about Secret Wars and potentially the Russos' return. All of that and more here tonight, Hollywood After Dark, episode number 52. Let's get right into it. Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? Welcome to the show tonight. My name is Matt Jarbo. Episode number 52 today, of course, is the 17th of August, 2021. We're getting close to the end of the month, which means that soon it will be into the holiday season. We got Shang-Chi on the horizon. The social media reactions last night were pretty good. So good that today Marvel announced a very secret special screening tomorrow night on the 18th of August. I think 25 different locations around the country. I got my tickets, but I'm not too sure if I'm going to go. And the reason why is because it's about a 70-mile trip one direction. And I'm not too sure if I want to spend that kind of gas and time to go and see Shang-Chi. The movie sounds good. The reaction to it has been great. But I might just wait for it to come out like everybody else because that's a bit of a trek. That's a bit of a drive. And I'm not going to lie, the Delta variant is something that is definitely still on my mind, even though I am vaccinated. There was a super spreader event in Vegas over the weekend. Some people who you might know from the movie chat side of YouTube. They had a big, Friday Night Tights, Geeks and Gamers meetup, which I'm hearing now people are walking away from that maskless event with COVID. And I wish everyone the best. I hope everyone very much recovers, but at the same time, this is where we find ourselves with these kind of meetups and gatherings and not social distancing can have a real big impact on our health. So with all of that going on, I wish everyone is, a good time. I do want to do a quick little bit of shilling because that's kind of how I have to do this stuff here. So I want to give a shout out to the channel members. You guys are the ones who keep the Hollywood After Dark nightly show afloat. If you guys want to get in on the action, the join button is right down there. You guys can join up for just $2 a month because that's a great way to help support the channel. And if you guys give, any kind of super chats or become a channel member or even get involved in the Patreon, patreon.com/Matt Jarbo, you guys get yourself in the running to win a copy. Howard the Duck on the 4K, right? If you haven't seen Duck Titties in 4K, you are missing the ducking hell out. That's right, folks. It's Howard the Duck. It's a great film, one of my all-time favorites. And of course, just as a quick show, if you guys haven't already seen the District 9 episode of Podio Commentary, that is live over on youtube.com/Podio Commentary. And this week, I will be doing the Super Mario Brothers. I'm currently working on that script right now. Hopefully have that thing out by the end of the week, time permitting. And so I know you guys here today are definitely wanting to know more about what is going on with potentially Secret Wars, the biggest event to come out of Marvel, the next Avengers event, supposedly, from what I've been trying to understand. So we got with us today, the man, the myth, the legend, you know him, you love him, Mr. Mikey Sutton. Mikey, how's it going, man?
Oh, man, what a day, huh?
Yeah, I was not going to do anything on this tonight until you're just like, you DM me and you're like, hey, man, have you heard about this shit? And I'm like, I was going to talk about fucking Superman and, Starro and shit.
Man,
but
this
of course,
my day off today. I was like, I'll take a day off. I don't have a show with Slow today. Just going to chillax, right?
You're like, it's funny because Clerks 3 information dropped out today. They had the first image pop in from a Variety article. So you're like, I wasn't supposed to be here today.
Yeah, I was this article came out on Sunday. And
yeah, I'll bring up the so before we get into the article,
sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's quickly talk about the big, the overview of what this whole thing is for people out there who don't know.
Yeah. So Secret Wars is a crossover film they've been planning for years now. Initially scooped this back in 2019 with my frequent collaborator at the time, the Black Knights, what I called them. But back then, that I was still hiding. I had no intention of becoming a public scooper. I had a small group of friends that I posted scoops to. Um, some of which took off in public, like Civil War and the original Spider-Man deal. I made those public, but other ones like let me give you an example, Matt. Ezra
Okay.
Miller in the Flash show was a scoop I had posted anonymously back in the day. Of course, that came true. Um,
Oh, really?
but when what happened? See, you couldn't like. My life was so weird the past 3 years. If it was a movie, you would not believe it. You'd be like, this is like science fiction. It's so weird how this happened. The Spider-Man scoop. By the way, it's almost 2 years to the day
Yeah.
that this broke, and I'm probably more popular now or more saturated now than I was back then. Almost 2 years to the day, that scoop wasn't going to be public. I was going to make that anonymous. But Kate Valdez, the actress, my friend, and it was her birthday that day. And I said, you know what? I don't want her to wake up to bad news about Spider-Man. So I made it public. Not knowing, I think, okay, maybe when she wakes up, she'll read it like, okay, everything is okay, because
Yeah. Yeah.
all the information was wrong. I was like, okay, I'll just get it out and make sure, hopefully, she reads it. Didn't realize the whole world would read it, and then everybody else was saying the opposite. So,
So real quick though, for people who don't remember, like the 2 years ago, when Tom
yeah,
Holland was apparently pulled out of Marvel Cinematic Universe and all that stuff, everyone out there, you have Brendan Davis from comicbook.com, BD himself going like, it's over, it's done, folks, go home, take the L, that's not going to happen again. John Campea is out there tweaking his nipples like, it's over, I swear to God, it's over. Everyone, Grace Randolph, everyone out there was saying that it was over. The whole thing was dead, it was not going to come back. Mikey was like the one like lone voice in like the back of the room that like at the time no one was really like paying attention to. He was all like, no guys, seriously, it's gonna be coming, it's gonna be all fine. And then like some people, because I had just learned about who Mikey was at the time. So I was like a little bit like, okay, he's like the one guy saying this, but you could also, I mean, look, I think anyone to be honest with you, I think anyone who had like a fucking brain could see exactly what was happening. They were trying to negotiate in the trades. You could tell that they were playing the stupid PR warfare shit. Like this wasn't anything that was like they were going to, there's too much money on the table because this also was coming off of Spider-Man Far From Home grossing over $1 billion. There's too much money on the damn table and Sony needs the win. So there's that. Sorry, I had to just kind of history lesson.
No, it's great. Yeah, so when I had this scoop about Secret Wars, this is before the Spider-Man thing, so I was still hiding. So Lords of the Long Box, I scooped it with the Black Knight, and they were planning this for a while now. Like Kevin Feige, goddamn man, I don't know how many years in advance he plans things. But he is one meticulous fucker. I'm serious. I mean, he probably has things planned from now until 2099 for all I know, right?
I almost guarantee he does. I mean, like, because you don't like consolidate that much power.
Yeah.
Or I should say, you don't expand that much power and take over whatever you want to take over. I mean, to the point of where he's even getting like a Star Wars, and that was even something like 2 years ago that they had called out the Star Wars production. That was also August of 2019 is when that came out, and that was a big thing because I kind of felt at the time that was an announcement to kind of deflect away from Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I felt at the time. So I mean, obviously, Feige is planning out these phases well into advance now, especially with Marvel Television, Marvel Animation, the 4 shows you've had on Disney Plus, the 1 more coming out this year. The 3 movies coming out this year still. It's just insane. But anyway, sorry. There's just a lot going on. And so when it came to this Secret Wars scoop, I just wanted to bring something. So you first broke this on this episode of the Lords of the Long Box with Tim and his crew. And this is from, let me just kind of exit out of the full screen here. so you guys can see this. This is from August 7th, 2019.
Yeah,
so
right before
back in
Spider-Gate. Yeah, right before.
Yeah, right before Spider-Gate. That's right. Right before then. And so this was a thing. You're talking Secret Wars, Fing Fang Foom. I mean, Fantastic Four, all this stuff. And this is still coming right off of the heels of Endgame and right off the heels of Spider-Man. And kind of like, again, the pandemic wasn't even a thing for like many, many, many months. We were all kind of in this like post Endgame glow, and there was a lot of animosity, if I recall, towards the future of the MCU. A lot of people saying that's over, it's dead, it's done, it's never going to be able to come back in the way that they wanted to, simply because they, because where are you going to go after Endgame, right? All that stuff. And so just so you guys know, if you guys want to watch the stream where Tim from Lords of the Long Box gives out that info, the link is in the video description right now. Go and give that a watch later just to get some corroboration for what Mikey said 2 years ago. Since that's one of those things that we kind of have to, when Mikey's name gets brought up quite a bit, it always kind of cracks me up because like there is, and Mikey, I know you know this, there is this like massive fucking scooper civil war that's like always going on. I know I've been blackmailed by Daniel RPK because like I didn't know Mikey very well, and I was all like, what do you know about this guy? I'm like, I don't know how much I believe, whatever. It was like so milquetoast. Right. And so he came out and like he tried to blackmail me, and then I just laughed in his face over it. And then you've got like all the little clubs and the little people that are like, all trying to like snipe at each other. And they're all like, oh, this guy's full of shit. That guy's full of shit. And they all fight. And it's so funny because Mikey's over here just going like, hey, I'm just going to drop this and this and this and this and this and this. And those guys are all on Twitter just duking it out. And Mikey's like, yeah, I'm, or hiding it behind Patreon paywalls, things like that. I think I made the joke a long time ago, like hashtag Mikey does it for free.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I had no intention of making this a career at all. It was just something that was just fun to do. Being a fan, you want to share it with people that you are good friends with, right? Like, hey, check this out. It's going to happen. And you did. That's the other thing too. Just because I got people, I want to confirm this too. Mikey, before he had the Geekosity Facebook group, he had his personal page. Yeah.
And like he'll post, like he would post there certain things that came true, certain things that happened. And then you could corroborate that from like well back in the day before the stuff even came out. So like there are people out there that always kind of questioned the legitimacy of it. And so I just want to say like there's been some corroborations that have come out, and people out there need to recognize that. While me, I personally don't cover a lot of scoops, and that because I'm more of a tangible type commentator. Like I like to know, like,
and I appreciate that, that's great.
Yeah.
I respect that.
And but no, this is one of those ones where it's like there's been so much kind of smoke surrounding Secret Wars, especially with Secret Invasion. That's, I believe, going into production right now, or it's filming right now, isn't it?
It's going to start filming in this month, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like
all sorts of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. type rumors going on right now.
Oh, tons.
Not only scooped back in the days.
Yeah, you did. Well, yeah, that was the first one too. That was the first one, yeah. That someone had sent me your scoop for Chloe Bennett being in Sword, and let me see if I can actually find that old
Sword
thumbnail.
actually became a thing.
And Sword did, yeah. I remember like that was the thing because they were filming WandaVision, and they had like a shot there of whatever the hell it was called at the time. The Agents of Sword. It was Tiana Paris, and me seeing her. So that was pretty funny. That was. Hold on, see if I can find it here in my old folder of thumbnails. I got the old folder. I can't. I got so many thumbnails there. But no, because Mikey, I had heard about this from somebody, and I was like, all right, I'll definitely like look into it, and I talked about it, and then that's how I got to know Mikey, and it was very interesting because you're like, oh my god, like, this is something that could be a thing down the road. Obviously they need to build towards it, but we didn't think about it at the time, because at the time you had it was like so kind of up in the air. Disney Plus was just being announced. We hadn't seen anything, Endgame just being over. It's definitely crazy.
Yeah.
I can't even find that damn thumbnail, but that's okay. That's all right. That's all right. But anyway,
Yeah. What
sorry.
happened back then too, Matt, was so after the Spider-Man thing, after that started getting picked up, right? Because I was the only positive voice out there about it. Somebody went to my Facebook page and saw all my public posts from the past about Black Panther being in Civil War, about the original Spider-Man deal, and like, holy shit, this guy's been posting scoops like to a small group of people, and they're coming true. And then all of a sudden, Yahoo.com found out about that, and they did a story on me and put me on. Actually, I messaged you when I was on the front page of Yahoo.com back then.
Right,
Um,
right. I remember
right?
that.
That
Yeah.
was nuts, man. That was just crazy. But they've been working on Secret Wars even before I scooped it back then. Feige, man, he's just like I see guys. He's insane long-term plans. It's just almost obsessive the way he does it. And when they were planning out Endgame, he was already thinking of how am I going to top this? How
Yeah.
would I top Endgame? And they always look to the comics, man, like for inspiration, like, but they're gonna tweak it. They're gonna make it palatable to the
Yeah.
general audience, right?
And that's one of the things that like I know purists out there like really hate.
Yeah.
But it's like you have to realize that adaptations are adaptations
Hmm.
and they're never going to be one to one because there's certain things that either are unfilmable or are just entirely way too expensive that they can
Hmm.
just never see it done or for time. It's like everyone got really mad at Lord of the Rings when Tom Bombadil was cut short. And it's like, really? I mean, sure, I like Tom Bombadil, but the movie didn't suffer without Tom Bombadil being there.
Hmm.
Just saying. But there's always going to be those elements that come into play. So real quick though, I did drop the voicemail number right there. If anyone wants to call in, ask Mikey a question. We'll get to that after this, if that's okay with you, Mikey.
Sure. Yeah.
We can do some
Perfect. Yeah.
voicemail
Pretty great.
questions.
Yeah.
People can call in 30 seconds, just ask real quick. We'll get what he has to say. And then also we got a new channel member, Zeno, the salty mofo himself, Zeno
Awesome.
Q. Has coming to channel. Thank you so much for that one, Zeno. I really appreciate it. I'll add you to the list. Don't worry, it's a good list, not a bad list. I think at least. And so what we've got is so now with Secret War. Okay, so
Yeah.
with Loki opening up the multiverse.
There you go. Yeah.
And that's the big fucking thing.
Yeah.
That was like
was
and
in the first 5 minutes of episode 1.
oh, but did you catch? And I've always wanted. I don't know if I've asked you about this privately, but did you ever catch Marvel's 3 fake outs on the multiverse? They did 3, right?
Well, there was Mysterio, right?
So they did. Well, yeah, Mysterio was one in the first
Yeah.
trailer from Far From Home when he's all like, "Oh, the multiverse," and it's like, "Wait,
Yeah.
what the hell? The multiverse?" Okay, and then that was a fake out, and then
Yeah.
they did the 2 fake outs and then the real one. But
Yeah.
then it was episode 2 of Loki when Sylvie detonated all those all those bombs.
That's right,
And created
that's
all
right.
those Nexus events that everyone saw the timeline going all crazy. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that's the birth of the multiverse. And it happened on June 16th, 616, which was not a coincidence, by the way. That was not a
That's right.
coincidence. That was
That's
planned
right.
out. And so they faked this out then, and then they actually showed it in the season finale of the show. And I love that because that was an earned thing, unlike DC,
Yeah.
which we won't talk about, but that's an earned event. And so now for those people out there who are relatively uninitiated with what Secret Invasion and Secret Wars are, and I'm not a big comic book reader. I know these names in passing. I know the general idea, but can you give people out there like a general run through of what Secret Invasion is and how that leads into Secret Wars?
Yeah, so Secret Invasion is about the Skrulls taking over. They've invaded Earth. These are bad Skrulls. Not the good Skrulls from Captain Marvel.
Not Talos. Yeah.
Not Talos. No, he's one of the
Yeah.
good guys. But these are evil Skrulls that'll take over, like even the superheroes. So you don't know who to trust. So I'm not sure how they're going to tie in Secret Invasion with Secret Wars, because the Skrulls are not part of Secret Wars. I think what that is they're going to have stories that come before Secret Wars, but they'll probably plant seeds in there that eventually will sprout fruit in Secret Wars. And what really shocked me, Matt, was when I scooped Secret Wars, I said this is like so many years from now. You
Yeah.
probably won't even get any Easter eggs for this. First 5 minutes of Loki, boom. I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, serious. Like, are you serious? You just like casually dropped the mic right there. Oh yeah, why not? You
Well, and
know?
it makes sense. It
It
makes
was
all the
brilliant
sense in
though.
the
Yeah,
world
yeah,
because the thing is, like, Marvel understands that they have to earn it, right? They
yeah,
have to lay the groundwork, and that
yeah,
was something that, again, its opposition,
yeah.
its competition is just saying that's what we're going to do, and then kind of be done with it. But Marvel, Feige, this is where he's so smart. He's like, listen, got to make it legit, got to build up to it, got to get fans on board because I believe, when we've joked about the multiverse before and like how, the average person in Oklahoma is not going to know what the hell any of this stuff is.
Yeah,
So it makes all the sense in the world to have,
yeah.
someone like that. You got to have that slow build to make it understandable. And even the way that they explained the Nexus events in Loki was still not as clear as I think they could have made it, but it was enough to give people an idea and then to maybe seek out more information on that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So
okay.
yeah, like the Secret Wars. So initially, Matt, it was kind of, I don't want to say confusing. I was just trying to figure out, Matt, how they were going to pull this off, right?
Yeah.
Because originally it was supposed to be like one film or maybe two films, um, where you have like alternate timelines. You have time travel in in the original plan. Because here's the funny part. In 2019, when I scooped this, I said one of the major villains is Kang the Conqueror. This is like before Loki, like 2 years before Loki, and
Well,
I
and
was
didn't
bringing
they,
up Kang.
and wasn't Kang not announced that he was like scooped
Yeah,
for Ant-Man Quantumania far
yeah,
before Loki,
yeah, yeah,
and then there was the big theory during Loki
yeah,
about Kang, and
yeah,
everyone's like, no, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. And I was saying, I'm like,
yeah,
they're not going to give us Kang. We're not going to get that character. And it's like, oh shit. I mean, I was like, I'm wrong.
yeah,
I can admit it. I can
yeah.
admit it
It was
because it was
pretty
a
shocking. I mean,
yeah, like, and then that's
I,
Feige.
I am just surprised at the speed of which this is coming through, because from when I heard this in 2019, I heard it was a slow, gradual build-up, even slower than Infinity War. Um, so all of a sudden, I'm seeing Kang already. I'm like, whoa, somebody's speeding up the process here. Um, so before I get into more Secret Wars, I do have a kind of a late-breaking scoop for you, Matt, exclusive to your channel right now, because I love
All
doing
right, I'll
this.
take a late breaking scoop. Let me
Sure,
just
yeah.
screenshot the timestamp so I know how to clip this out later on to
Uh,
maximize profit because
so
I'm a
yeah.
business. But yes, what is the scoop?
And I have to explain this very carefully. 'Cause some websites out there when they cover my stuff, they don't get it right, or they tweak it to make it sound more juicy, right?
Okay,
Or more negative, Um, from what I've been hearing, this is the last end game type of humongous crossover.
really?
Yeah, for now. I mean, there's no looking forward past this. Obviously, all the films will be connected, right?
Yeah,
But in
yeah,
terms of like building up to one big storyline, um, right now Kevin Feige is like Secret Wars is a story to end all stories. Like, how do you top this? And yeah, we can top Endgame, right? But how do you
yeah,
top this without being redundant? Okay, you bring all these characters together. Because when I first heard about Secret Wars, my main concern, Matt, was people getting it confused with Infinity War. Like the
yeah,
whole war, and also Civil War, because you have superheroes fighting superheroes, which is.
yeah,
But then I started tweaking it. Then all of a sudden, I'm hearing that the superheroes will fight evil versions of themselves. And I'm thinking, how are they going to pull that off? All of a sudden, variants. Okay, now it's starting to
yeah,
become clear where they're going here. Because what I was hearing, what I scooped in 2019, it's like I kept getting updates about this throughout the year, and I kept adding what they were telling me. One of them was having the Feige's new X-Men um, fight the original Fox X-Men, or at least members of them. but they're like evil versions, but they're played by the actors who played them in Fox. That was one of the ideas they were toying with. Like, how
Yeah.
cool would that be?
It'd be
And
cool, but I think at this point it's kind of run its course. If I'm being honest with
yeah,
you,
exactly. Yeah.
they're past their prime,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it's been 20 plus years on that
Yeah,
front.
it has been. Yeah. So, but you're gonna see they're gonna play with this. I mean, one of them I recently scooped was the Captain Hydra version of Chris Evans. They were thinking about it'd be kind of funny to have them fight Sam Wilson's Captain America. Anthony
That'd be
Mackie's,
interesting.
right? That would be fun to watch.
And there's been a lot of rumors about
Yeah,
Evans coming back.
yeah,
But as a variant of Steve Rogers, that would be fascinating. That might really piss off a lot of people, to be honest
yeah.
with you. That
Oh
might
yeah,
really piss off a lot of people. A lot of cap stands are gonna be like, "What? This bullshit. Marvel's terrible. It's all woke garbage now." Like that's all they're gonna say about it. I say that anyway, but it's stupid.
So
Uh,
what we're going to see past Secret Wars is like they're going to have certain franchises adapt their own big stories, like the Fantastic Four will adapt the Galactus Silver Surfer saga, which in the comic books was a trilogy at first. Um, so they're going to do, instead of like having everything build up to this crescendo of Endgame or Secret Wars. Um, you're going to see more of that. Um, and I think it offers them more versatility that they don't have to follow one arc to get to that end game point. But again, like that could always change as well. But
yeah.
from what I'm hearing, that Feige's like, you know what? How do you top this? I mean, this is like the story that ends them all. I mean, so that's where they are right now. But there's more. Like in that story, the article I did, that was mainly based on what Jim Shooter was going
Okay.
through at the time. So I left stuff out. Um, for example, he
So
mentioned the black costume in there, Spider-Man, and
yeah, and that's a big one. I put that on the thumbnail. Even I
yeah,
was asked like, "Wait, is Black Suit Spider-Man going to be in fucking Secret Wars?" I'm like, "It's on the cover." I mean, like, what?
yeah,
I don't know, but it's on the cover.
yeah,
It's not like you Google Secret Wars and it's like Black Suit Superman or
yeah,
Superman Spider-Man, is right there. So obviously, like, it's possible that the deal that they've worked out. I mean, like, here's the way I see it.
yeah,
It really does boil down to like Sony's deal with Marvel, and I've said multiple times that I believe that this deal is very, very, very open, right? Like it's not
yeah,
as regimented
yeah,
and closed off as the last one was, because
yeah,
clearly seeing Michael Keaton in Morbius is
mm-hmm,
an example of how like they have been able to find ways with this new agreement to really work together. And that might also be something that might be, one of those things where Feige, because yesterday I talked briefly about the new guy coming in, the
mm-hmm,
number two, the guy taking over Marvel streaming and animation and TV and stuff.
yeah,
And that guy, like, to kind of be Feige's right-hand man, so to speak.
mm-hmm,
So the reason why that's interesting to me is because it's like Feige is taking on a lot, and we know that he stealth produced Venom, and I'm
mm-hmm,
pretty sure he had his hands and fingers all in Venom 2 and Morbius, because
yeah, he does,
clear
yeah,
clearly they want to run parallel to that,
yep,
and they've got to make it work to have those touch points. And now we had Tom Hardy coming out the other day saying, "Oh no, I totally want to be in meet up with Spider-Man, and I'll do anything in my power to make sure that I get to meet up with Spider-Man." It's coming. At this point, it's coming, and
yeah,
that's why I think the Secret Wars is probably going to be something that culminates even with Sony characters,
mm-hmm,
and that is going to be probably the most fascinating aspect of that.
yeah,
But so this so this is a story from your
yeah,
website, geekosity.com or geekositymag.com. It's linked in the video description right now. I just always forget if there's a mag on the end. And so this is the big news that's breaking its way around the internet today. This is
yeah,
the big one right here,
yeah,
that former Marvel editor revealed odd new deal. And it's weird that this came out now, considering, did you see that the info that dropped last week about the Marvel the payouts.
Yep. I was thinking the same thing too.
That like, because when that dropped, for one, like people were getting really bitchy with Marvel about it. Like, well, why are they only paying him so much money? It's like, well, I mean, like the characters are already owned by the by all this, but they are still trying to kind of figure out whatever they need to figure out in regards to the legalities and just make sure their I's are dotted, T's are crossed, things like that. And so this story here, now this was sent to you guys by someone who was at this convention. Where was this convention at?
Yeah, it was in Florida. Here's a funny part. Matt, no one was there because it's Florida,
Well, I mean, it's Florida. Yeah.
Besides being Florida, it's COVID central,
Well, that is true. Yeah. And why isn't Jim Shooter wearing a mask? He's old, damn it. Wear a mask. Save lives, man.
So, Luis Gonzalez, who's from Geek Culture Congress, he's a friend of mine. He's covered my scoops in the past. He goes, "Hey, I'm here at MegaCon. Jim Shooter's here. I'm going to ask him about your Secret Wars scoop." I said, "Okay, if you do, film it. Please film it." I had no idea how big that decision became, right? So, like a few hours later, I get a message from him. He goes, dude, he confirmed it. Like, what? Confirmed what? No, I'll send you the video. And I'm like, I'm watching the video and I'm like, holy shit. He just basically said that they're going to do a movie. I mean, they offer, okay, here's a funny part about this deal, Matt. It's bait and switch. But what they did to him was kind of sleazy, actually. And it's kind of forgotten now. Or it's kind of ignored because the Secret Wars part of it is so exciting. But really what happened was Marvel's or Disney sent a low-level guy from property management, right, and offered him a fake novelization deal. It wasn't real. And kind of like bait him into signing the other contract. The other contract is a amended work-for-hire agreement, like the same one that he signed back in '84. But it's been modified because there was no streaming television back then. There was no billion-dollar movies back then. Basically saying you will not sue us. We're going to use the characters and concepts you created, but you can't sue us. Okay, so sign them. And Shooter was offended because he was the editor-in-chief at Marvel back in the early 80s, one of the most successful periods. Because I know all about this. You don't have to trick me into signing this. And that's what bothered him the most, that he was going to sign it anyway.
It was just lazy. It's just lazy. It's like, come on. Don't fuck with me. Like, I know what's going on here. I get it. Yeah, I understand that.
They sent him a 2-page contract for a novel that he was like, it's like, this is not even real. It's not even a real offer. Like, why would they do a novel of a comic book from almost 40 years ago, right? Makes no sense. So he got this humongous, like, draconian binder of legal paperwork, like this huge thick paper, and he was like, that's what they really wanted him to sign. So he got pissed off, and a couple of hours later, I don't know how long later, he got a call from one of the higher ups at Marvel Comics, and said, "Hey, look, I'm gonna you need to send us work for a hire agreement." Goes, "Yeah, I already signed one back in '84." Goes, "No, you gotta sign this one. I'll give you 10 grand. And Shooter felt that he didn't need to pay him 10,000 because he already signed off the characters before. So like he knew he's a company man. He knows the deal, right? So he felt that he has no financial ownership whatsoever of the characters. So just speaking diplomatically here, morally, right?
Yeah.
But he goes, "No, you dummy, go ahead and sign it." So you take the money, take your 10,000. I'm like, okay, sure, go ahead. And what it is, Matt, is that when a character that a comic book writer or artist created, and that character is going to be used for a film and TV show, they're going to go back to the creators and clear it. Make sure you don't go chasing after them with a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Which happens
because it's cheaper up front just to give them the money.
Right? Guess, like here, you don't want to fight our lawyers. Okay, here's 10 grand. Go away.
I mean, but he even says here, he says you don't have to pay me anything. I know it's a work for hire. What do you want me to do? Lie about it? So I mean, so he's basically saying like, like, I don't need your fucking money. Although 10 grand is 10 grand.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like they're just covering. I mean, that's just them covering their ass.
Yeah, they are.
Because like,
yeah,
they just want it done. I mean, it's like, look, you've already been paid for it. Here's more money. Shut up. sort of thing. And like, yeah, it makes all the sense in the world. And so, because right here's the article here. Hollywood Reporter recently went viral with their examination of low figure payments to comic book creators, and that was literally just the other day.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the
like,
timing of this is just perfect. I mean,
it's very fascinating how it all kind of came together, and because he even says here, it's all like, he's asking like, oh, you guys are making a movie. I'm not allowed to tell you that. I think you just did.
Yeah.
And that's basically like, come on, if you're calling me out of the blue, because you want this. Now, this is for the original Secret Wars. Wasn't there an updated version of this?
Yeah, by Jonathan Hickman, which you know what that means, Matt. They're gonna cover his version of what they're gonna do, unless Hickman comes out and says, "Hey, they did it. They also offered me." But when I scooped this back in 2019, I said it was the shooter version that is gonna play the biggest role in this adaptation. They really want his version, because that has a black suit Spider-Man. Okay, that has Doctor Doom. It has Kang. It has Galactus. It's got all these Fox characters they just got, right? Because Kang, Galactus, and Doctor Doom were all Fox characters that they just not got the rights to a couple of years ago.
Well, and that's and going back to your point about like this kind of being like the last big one, I think this more like, isn't Secret Invasion and this more or less like designed to open the multiverse to bring these other characters in order to then establish those franchises? Because that to me seems like the best, because everyone's at this point asking how are they going to bring in these characters? We have this established universe. We've got, like Fantastic Four, you can say they've been in the quantum realm since the 60s. You could easily say that. Fine. Okay. Come out. Yeah. Good. All right. You could say that. But like the X-Men, because they're like, like how they're going to do the X-Men, and everything. So that's going to be very fascinating to see how that plays out. And then of course, the big question becomes like, what about the directors? Because that's going to be like the big thing. Who is going to be able to handle this particular story? And there's really like only one group of people that people out there want. And that of course is the Russos.
And they want this really bad.
They do want this bad. In fact, I found this article from the Nerdist back from July 20th, 2020. Yeah. And this is not a new article. This is just kind of like them hinting at it again last year, when in fact, after the Endgame came out, there was a question: what are you guys going to do next? What's going to happen next? What's going to go on? What's going to happen? What are the Russos going to do? And they and then they kept talking about like, maybe we come back for like Secret Wars. We'll come back for Secret Wars. It'll be fine. It'll be great. and then that got everyone talking about Secret Wars a couple years ago. And then all of a sudden now it's like, well, Secret Invasion, and then all right, they're leading to multiverse, and so you start kind of seeing like because here's the thing, they fucking knew about this like back in 2019, like they knew like this is what they wanted to do, because Feige probably already brought it up to them back then. It was like, all right, $2 billion highest grossing movie of all time for a stint. We need to top that, and we need to beat Avatar.
There you go.
So what are we going to do to introduce all of these new characters? Because if you think about it, the best introduction of new characters into the grander mythos of everything has been the Russos. Civil War, Winter Soldier really gave us more Bucky, and then we got the introduction of T'Challa in Civil War. We got a bunch of other stuff, obviously integrating the Guardians into the larger universe, Ant-Man into the larger universe, with Civil War as well as Infinity War, and then of course Endgame being just massive. So clearly at this point, these guys know what they're doing when it comes to kind of establishing a larger kind of end phase event. And it would kind of break things open for a while and allow things to go a multitude of different directions before needing them to come back together again. Because convergences are always going to be there, but But here's the thing to consider, and this is again something else they've been talking about is the movies predominantly going forward are going to be like bigger, like ensemble kind of film. Like you're going to have like your main character, and then you're going to have like a bunch of other characters hanging out there. Look at Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Scarlet Witch is like number 2. America Chavez is in it. I mean, you're hearing there's been rumors of Captain Carter making an appearance in the multiverse in live action. Haley Atwell coming back.
Yeah,
there's been all that kind of stuff happening. So obviously, like they want us, and then so the Disney Plus shows, which are wildly popular, wildly successful, are going to be establishing, the smaller characters, introducing them for their big main stage debut.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me makes the most amount of sense when it comes to continuing the story in a way that's going to allow people to like really get invested, and that's only going to lead to higher box office profits as they go forward.
Yeah, and there's gonna be a lot of introductions on Disney Plus, like a ton, and they're gonna be pieced into Secret Wars later on. One of the ones I was hearing, Matt, was a kind of quasi-Western character named Red Wolf. Red Wolf is a Native American. Now there are different iterations of Red Wolf, like throughout the decades. There was an Old West Red Wolf, and so you're gonna have a modern Red Wolf. I'm hearing in Hawkeye, but 2 years ago when I scooped Secret Wars, I said Kang will take the Avengers back to the Old West. So it makes sense they would have the modern Red Wolf now. And then when that happens, you will see the original Red Wolf, and the audience will be like, oh, hey, that's the great grandfather of whatever. They can make those they can piece those puzzles together, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a genius of Feige. He thinks like in chess pieces. He's like so many moves ahead of everybody. Whether you like him or not, you gotta say he's
Yeah, and that also is part of like why about being a producer, because producers, a lot of people who don't understand how the process goes. Like they think that they probably think, oh, they just throw this shit at a wall and see what sticks.
Yeah,
they literally plan this stuff out so far in advance because they have so many moving pieces and parts that they have to get everyone like together. Like, did you ever hear anything about anything negative coming off of the Endgame set? Were there production delays, production problems? Nothing. Everything runs smooth. Everything runs smooth. And so it's like the only hiccup has been maybe Dave Bautista and like his criticisms, and I think they're valid. By the way, I do. I think they're very valid. But with Bautista, you've got like that's really kind of about it. Otherwise, everyone's really happy. They want to go back to work. They want to continue working there. And with that, then you've got the fan demands, because the fans are like, we want more Iron Man, even though he's dead. We want more Captain America, even though he's retired. But then still introducing these new characters is going to be a really good way of allowing, I think, the universe to expand. And then also, like in the case of, let's say, WandaVision, allowing closure for Vision. Because we did watch him die for a third time, and that was sad, but it also was closure for Wanda's character, and then opening that up. And then even Paul Bettany has said like he's kind of just waiting for a call, if he's going to come back into it, and he's more than happy to come back into it because that's kind of where he's getting his payday from, and there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, the way Marvel's working right now is just like supremely on key. And and I think once we kind of get back into the swing of things with theaters and everything else, it's going to be, a well-oiled machine that's not going to have any real problems.
Yeah, and I think with Secret Invasion, I think what they're trying to do is get the general audience used to variants. Because if the rumors are true, we're going to see Chloe Bennett, we're going to see Elizabeth Henstridge of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Secret Invasion, but they're not in the continuity of the show, so therefore they're alternate versions of those characters. And I think what Feige's trying to do is get people used to that concept, so by the time Secret Wars comes in, there's no confusion. So like the Flash movie coming, which they're gonna
Oh,
have to explain all that in one movie, man. I don't know how they're gonna do it.
I don't know
So
either. I mean, like, look, Andy Muschietti, you know, like he did It Chapter 1, It Chapter 2, and
yeah,
they said there was enough there for like It Chapter 3, you know, so it's like, all right, man, how long is this movie going to be? We have no idea. It could be, you know, it's probably going to be coming up on about, like, I would argue it's going to have to be like Zack Snyder movie level length, like
yeah, I know.
245, somewhere in there, creeping up on the 3 hour mark.
Yeah,
Because you know, otherwise they might be like, well, we're gonna have ancillary things we might release over to, you know, like HBO Max or whatever. Who knows on that one? I mean, I feel like obviously with the way Secret, you know, yeah, the opening up at the variants and keeping that on and everything else, there's clearly going to be a lot of things moving forward. Now, when it comes to a time frame for when Secret Wars might come out, have you heard anything on that one?
you know, back in 2019, I was hearing. This is why I'm so shocked by how fast this is going, because back then they were saying about 10 years. They're gonna build this up for 10 years. I don't think it's 10 years, man. The way they're
How
moving
do you build
quickly.
that up for 10 years though? I mean, I get it.
Yeah,
I get the aspect of it because
yeah.
phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and
Mm-hmm.
at the end of phase 1 we introduced Thanos. Okay, fine, but at the
Mm-hmm.
end of Loki we introduced a variant of Kang,
Yeah.
but we're not going to see Kang until 2023, and that's going to be in phase 5.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I mean, what doesn't Spider-Man No Way Home, doesn't that effectively end phase 4? Am I
Yeah.
like,
Wait.
let me
No,
Google
no,
that real.
no. Wait, No Way Home is part of Phase Four, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, does it end phase 4?
No, no, it does not. Does not.
Oh, no, no, no. Sorry.
I,
Doctor Strange. I think no, sorry. It goes all the way through. I was wrong. No, no. It goes through Guardians Volume 3
yeah.
is apparently now going to end it. And that's in 2023 as well. So, okay. Because I always thought phase 4 was like very small initially.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, we also missed out on 2020. So maybe that's why it
You
feels.
see, we had that missing year, yeah, with COVID and
Yeah.
everything.
So, because
Um,
next year we've got Doctor Strange, Thor, Black Panther, and the Marvels. So 4 films. That's 1 per quarter, and that
yeah.
was up. Remember when 2 a year felt like a lot, and then it was like, we'll do 3 and maybe see how that goes. And now it's like up to 4 a year. And again, because they're trying to like get these movies through, and they're trying to make up for that gap year.
Yeah.
And then it's going to end with Guardians. Ant-Man and the Guardians are going to end out phase 4 in 2 years from now, and then of course in the meantime you're going to have, I mean, you know, Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Secret Invasion, Ironheart, Armor Wars, I Am Groot, the Guardians television special. I mean, there is so much coming in phase 4
Yeah.
that it's wildly insane.
Well, I think that's part of it too. Like when I initially scooped this, they didn't have all these different Disney Plus shows. That's going to enable them to accelerate this because they can tell the story throughout those different programs and help build it up quicker that way. Because what I'm hearing about Secret Wars now is that it's going to cross over into the shows and into other films.
Yeah.
So it just won't be just one movie because it's such a big story. The original Secret Wars from the 80s was 12 issues and it crossed over in different comic books. And the way the story is set up, Matt, you can actually tell the story in different films because there's like different battle worlds where these characters are
Oh,
fighting. So you can have
wasn't
different stories.
but wasn't Battle World something that was talked about a while ago? If I recall, like it was around like it was something with Venom. I think there was like a Battle World scoop. I don't know if it came from you or if it
That was
came
for
from.
me. That was for me. Yeah.
Okay,
There was
because
a kind of the symbiotes that they were
right,
fighting on
yeah,
different.
okay, because yeah, Planet of the Symbiotes is right, and then because I mean, looking up here just from like the Marvel database, from their fandom, you know, just give people who don't know, it's like this is you know, this is the first ever crossover event for comics, as big as it was back in '84. And so obviously this is going to be a big thing. You know, seeing here, you've got Spider-Man, X-Men, Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, The Thing, Thor, Avengers, Captain America, and Fantastic Four. So clearly I mean, like most of these characters are going to probably be involved. You know, that's probably the best way to look at this. Most of these characters are going to probably be involved, as well as literally everybody else. And so building up to that is going to be something, because apparently it's, you know, this is where we have the Battle World stuff, and that's going to be, you know, like kind of crazy. I mean, here's the thing. Here's why I think they're going to do this very similar to this kind of layout, because Civil War was kind of like Civil War in name only.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that was also because they didn't have access to Wolverine. They didn't have access to a lot of those characters that were a big part of that original storyline. So now they've basically got all of those characters that they're going to be able to use.
Spider-Man, they have all the Fox people. So
and so from there, they'll be able to take that and they'll be able to really build upon it. And that might be what takes us through the different phases, obviously having their own individual adventures, but then having the bookends are going to build up, because they did that again. They did that with Age of Ultron. They did that with Thor Ragnarok leading into it. You know, they did that with a bunch of these other movies leading into what Infinity War was going to be. And then obviously Endgame. And that's where I'm really actually excited for the Disney Plus Day coming in November, because I think we're going to get a lot of info about what's going to be coming down the pipeline for the Disney Plus stuff. And that's going to give us a solid look at what to expect for Secret Invasion. And then clearly beyond that, tying into Secret Wars.
Yeah, here's what I find probably the most exciting about this, is that they're going to lump together characters from the same genre and put them in their own battle world. And I find that very, very cool. Like, for instance, they're building up all these supernatural characters right now, Matt. We have Moon Knight, be more of an Egyptian feel to it, and that show's gonna have some humor, but it's gonna be pretty dark. And it's gonna have supernatural elements. You're gonna have Werewolf by Night in there. He's going to form the Midnight Suns with Ghost Rider. Now, they're gonna have their own little battle world where they fight the Marvel zombies. See, I think that's, instead of having them fight like Galactus, which would make no sense at all. They're going to fight villains in their own league, right? And so
it'd be like Daredevil fighting Doctor Doom.
Right.
You're like, something about this isn't really going to work out very well for old Matt Murdock over here.
Although there is a Luke Cage story where he goes out for Doctor Doom because Doom owes him $5. So, I don't think it'll never happen in a movie. But
maybe that would be a what if. Maybe that would be a what if. What if Doctor Doom owed Luke Cage $5?
There you go.
You know, and you're like, what is this, like John Wick? All right, I can dig it, man. You know, just give me more Mike Coulter. I'll be happy with that one. So I guess my question.
See where this is going, and geez, you know what, Matt? I have no choice but to drop a scoop right now. So
there we go. 2 for 2. Suck it, Sil. Sucker.
I have no choice, but it's just the only way I can make this explain this clearly.
All right.
The cosmic characters, because I was wondering about this, because originally I heard there's a storyline called Annihilation, which had Nova, it had Captain Marvel, had all these cosmic characters in there, the Silver Surfer, and they were going to make this as one of the event films before the big one, before Secret Wars. Now, what I'm hearing now is going to tie in with Secret Wars. That is a battle world. Annihilation will be a battle world in Secret Wars, where you have all the cosmic characters teaming up against Galactus and so on and so forth. Where Cosmic Annihilus was one of the ones in the original book.
And wasn't that the planet where Loki and Sylvie went?
Yes.
In episode 3, Lamentus. Yes. Lamentus 1.
Yes, that's related.
Lamentus. That was because after that everyone was talking about Annihilation. It's like they're just dropping these breadcrumbs constantly.
They are,
it's like,
exactly.
Jeez, you guys slow down a little bit. You know, like. It does. It kind of, I mean, but then again, maybe that is kind of the point why they're kind of dropping so much right now, or why there's hints for everything. It's going to take a long time to get there, obviously, but they just want people to maybe to get used to it, you know, maybe to get used to the concept of what the stuff is, because oftentimes we don't always know. The further you get deeper into the lore of some of these characters, it gets a little bit confusing for people. And so, Feige kind of will like hold our hand and go like, okay, well, we're, go through like the Museum of Marvel, and like this pat us on the head and give us a balloon and a candy and go and explain to us. And we're like, oh, yeah, no, yeah, we're not the curators of the museum, but we understand what's going on here. We get it.
Yeah, it's not now I think about it. I can see where the scrolls would fit in because they would fit in the annihilation part of Battle World. So there you go. Even that makes sense. That's how you tie in Secret Invasion with all of it. There you go. There you go.
I mean, that's what they're, the
whole
cool
cosmic
thing,
angle,
Yeah, and they've been wanting to tie into the cosmic side of it, and I think that is where like Gunn was going to probably take things.
Yeah, he was
before, and now who knows what they're going to do with that. But and I wonder, if Feige, because there's been, and this is kind of a thing right now, Galiet Productions with a $5 super chat. I've been sitting on this for like 30, 40 minutes. Actually, at this point, well over that. And he asked here, Midnight's Edge is thinking Bob Chapek taking over, and that's going to kick Feige out.
No.
That's one of the things that, look, you don't fuck the goose that lays the golden eggs. You just don't do it. And this is why, like, I don't know why for one, Midnight's Edge just literally turned into fucking QAnon. Andre, what the fuck are you doing? Stop being a dipshit. And you know what the hell's going on. Like, but whatever, man. They keep you ill-informed. I don't get it. They used to be all about information, and now they're all about ignorance and disinformation. It's like you can literally watch in real time one of your favorite movie channels just selling out constantly. Yeah, so I'm telling you.
Yeah,
fuck Midnight's Edge.
Yeah, I will tell you that Disney would rather they would let Bob Chapek be eaten by live alligators than by that's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
No. Not at all. It's just so so ridiculous stuff here. All right, I think because we went on that for a while, there might be some super chats there was a couple that I did miss here. And my bad on that, guys. I do apologize. So Rational Skeptic here, but this is what we're going to get into the voicemail calls here in a second.
Sure.
Rational Skeptic here for $2 asks, where does Galactus fit in all this?
Okay, Galactus will be introduced to the Fantastic Four. The interesting part about this is, Matt, they've been talking about adapting a trilogy, but I just don't see them doing 3 films in a row with Galactus. There are so many villains that Feige wants to explore with the Fantastic Four. I think what will happen is that they would again tweak the 3 comic books with Galactus and the Silver Surfer, and the Watcher was in there too, which ties in with What If, so it's all crazy, I know. But I think they'll probably just make that one big film, and then they will save Galactus again. We'll see him again in Secret Wars, in a role where he will fight a group of Marvel characters, not just the FF. I think that's probably where that's headed.
Yeah, that makes the most amount of sense because I mean, obviously, the 2007 Rise of Silver Surfer totally like.
No,
it's a cloud.
No clouds here. No.
Yeah, no. I get that, and that's something. I mean, again, like and this is kind of where it's at. Like Doctor Doom and Galactus and Kang, those are big villains, and leading up to those villains is gonna be something that's gonna be needed. And obviously now we got the taste of Kang and everything else, and so I think that's gonna, I can see them kind of going like on tiers. And but they also may just want to save it for like these big events because they're gonna need some stuff down the road, and eventually. Feige is going to kind of plot his exit. Eventually he's going to have to step down. Like that's going to be a thing. So they might be, kind of preparing for that. Let me quickly, bring up another.
There will come a time when he's like, I've already done everything I wanted to do here. And he wants an Oscar, Matt. He wants the best picture.
Oh, that's Oscar's Eternals. So he went after Eternals that you can tell. You can tell because he was asked about there being streaming for Eternals last night, and he's like, well, no, it's got to be seen in theaters. And then like Chapek had made a comment about like, no, it might go to streaming, and because there's like I don't know, this is my hot take. I don't think that there's any hype for Eternals. I just don't see any hype for Eternals. I know Daniel RPK said there's going to be a new trailer, I think, coming this week, or coming next week or something like that, probably before the release of Shang-Chi. We're going to see something along those lines. But there's no, like, that first trailer was a dud, in my opinion. It was an absolute dud because it's like, like when Feige's all, oh, Chloe Zhao and the sunset, it was amazing. You're like, who fucking cares about a sunset? You can digitally create a sunset and like, use the volume and give us a better looking fucking sunset than in reality in a controlled environment that they shot parts of, Thor Love and Thunder in.
Well, what I'm hearing about Shang-Chi lately, I'm starting to wonder, Matt, if this is a new trend in terms of their trailers. 'Cause I'm hearing that a lot of people were shocked by Shang-Chi. It was nothing like what they envisioned from the trailers. There is a fantasy element in that film that you really couldn't see, but looked like a martial arts movie. I mean, it is heavy on martial arts.
Yeah.
But it's much more than that. And what I'm hearing that there is so much more in that film that you saw in the trailer. And I'm thinking Eternal is probably the same way. Like there's like less is more attitude where they don't want to show too much. And they're just banking on the brand. Like people are gonna go see it because of the brand and the reviews coming in. Whereas they don't, show that much. I'm just wondering if that could be their new trend now, as far as trailers are concerned.
Maybe.
Because the buzz for Shang-Chi right now is on fire, but it wasn't before. But
it wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't, and that could be something. That could be a factor. Let's move on next one here. James Mutombo says here, what do you think Sony's involvement in the wider MCU? Will Gore the God Butcher's weapon in Thor: Love and Thunder be a symbiote?
I don't think that's going to happen. They are working together more closely nowadays. Feige has a little bit more influence now with if you notice a title, Let There Be Carnage, you notice it has the long titles that Marvel's is using now, with like Shang-Chi, and The Legend, the Ten Rings. It has that kind of Pulp Fiction long title, like Sony was deliberately trying to capture, like, hey, we're kind of MCU, okay? Look at our titles, see, like they desperately want to be Marvel's girlfriend, okay? like really bad, like stalking,
Oh yeah, they want to put a ring on that thing and and never take it off, to the point of where they would they would like, if you leave me, I will kill you. Like that is the level. We're talking Basic Instinct shit here, guys. This is how badly Sony wants to.
I'm not sure if you ever saw this movie, Clint Eastwood movie, Play Misty for Me. That's Sony right now. It's calling Clint Eastwood a DJ, like Play Misty for Me.
Well, that might be. Yeah, we might have to. Hopefully they get it all out there. I'm hoping they do.
Yeah.
Simon here, $5, man. Thank you, Simon. Says, I predict for the Secret Wars Beyonder wearing a Jerry curl and a tight Eddie Murphy Ross suit, still out of sync from my end. I don't know what's out of sync. Am I out of sync? Maybe, I have no idea.
But the thing with the Russos, this was discussed too, is like, how do we top Thanos? Well, no, we have like 3 villains. You have God Emperor Doom, you have Galactus, and you got Kang, and that maybe Beyonder as well. And on different levels, the villains are going to be on different levels.
I don't see them bringing in Christian Bale for one go. I don't see them bringing in Christian Bale for one go. To me, that comes across as very much like, all right, we Academy Award nominee Christian Bale. Yeah. You bring him in like for something, and if he went through, because he was in like the gray, paint the other day, we saw those photos of him come off a set for the reshoots in LA. Like obviously he's kind of I don't want to say method, but he's at least like, he's not skimping on his duties. He's coming in there and he's like, oh yeah, I'll do the whole makeup prosthetic stuff. Let's go and do this thing, because that's kind of actor that he is. I mean, at this point, the dude's getting up there, not super old, but his career hasn't really gone far, I should say, past The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
So I'll have to wait and see. We'll have to see on that one, but hopefully we'll get.
When was the last time he was on? I haven't seen him in ages in a movie.
You take that money and you take a nice, well-deserved break. Now we do. Okay, couple quick things here. Couple quick super chats, and then we're gonna get to the voicemail. I promise everyone. And there's a few voicemails too. So I just want to make sure I play catch up here. Command Unit says daily dose of 40K Imperium introduction cinematic. All right, I'll have to go and take a look at that one there. Command Unit's been a very, very generous supporter of the channel, and he's also massively into Warhammer 40K. So he very much asks We watch a lot of Warhammer cinematics on the channel towards the end because he's trying to get me into it. Like that's his big thing right there. He's like I'll get you into it. I don't care how much it costs me. And you know, I'm like, you know, don't give away everything there, buddy. You know, like come on. So all right, we got that. Thank you very much for that one there. Command unit, and then that's what he said. If I could think about here, I just want to play catch up on this stuff here. All right, and then Rational Skeptic here asked the question for $2. Mikey, any news on the Star Wars multiverse?
Is this about the that in Rebels that what do you call that?
The world between worlds.
The veil of
the veil of the Force was something I think made up by fucking Doom shit. And you know, it's like, well, the veil of the Force, or it's like, you know, whatever, dude. It's like, you know, you're just LARPing once again as a bitch shoot Nazi.
I don't think they're gonna go multiverse in Star Wars.
It makes the reason why they bring it up is because in Rebels, like at one point, Ezra goes back, and he's able to save Ahsoka and like the time travel stuff.
Yeah, that was well done.
So it was well done. But the idea there essentially is that, you know, like, oh, they can do this now. And that's going to be how they're going to go create the multiverse in Star Wars. And that's how they're going to retcon the sequel trilogy by just erasing the sequel trilogy. It's not going to happen. It's going to be, I'm like, dude, the fucking first one, 2.2 billion. Each one has made over $1 billion. It's profitable. They're not walking away. Look, watch Bad Batch, which you should watch Bad Batch because there were tie-ins with that too, with cloning, the Kaminoans. Right? Or Kaminoans. There was a ton of stuff that they're kind of hinting at, like what happened in the sequel trilogy. Never mind the clear reference in season 2 of Mando when they go to the Imperial facility and they find a cloning tank with someone that looks kind of suspiciously like the body of Snoke, and then you hear Snoke's theme song playing in the background. It's like, dude, they're laying the groundwork. That's what they're trying, you know. But again, all these people. They just want Secret Trilogy to die, and you know.
Not even subtle right there.
I'm just like, you know how I feel about Star Wars. Like, you know how I feel about Star Wars. Like, I love that shit. Yeah. And as much as I did not care for The Last Jedi or even The Rise of Skywalker, like I'm willing to accept their existence. Just give me some cool shit leading up to it. I'll be happy. Just give me more Mando. You know, give me more things like that. But I don't think they're gonna.
Sometime next week, I'm gonna go on Matt's show and give you guys an update on the Kathleen Kennedy situation.
Yeah, that's right. So tune in sometime in the next week here, Hollywood After Dark. Mikey Sutton's gonna come, and he's gonna come bringing the heat, enough heat to make grown men drop to their knees and cry over the future of one Kathleen Kennedy, the president of Lucasfilm Productions. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be a hell of a show. Tears will be shed. Lives will be ruined. YouTube channels' entire credibility will be called into question. Hollywood After Dark next week. Like, that's going to be a big fucking thing. I've had an energy drink, by the way, so I am apparently really wired right now.
I took some B12, so I spent 4 months investigating this. I'm like, why am I investigating this? Okay.
You know? So it's gonna be a thing. Really, another super chat from Command Unit Man. Thank you. Says Wasp would be a good leader of the Avengers. I mean, I don't think Evangeline Lilly would be a good leader of the Avengers. I'm not the biggest.
She's a nice lady. I met her in person. She's wonderful, but
she seems nice, but like, you know, I don't know.
I can't see her as that. No.
I can't. Maybe like a team up unit or something, right? Maybe.
You mentioned the reaction when Brie Larson becomes the leader of the Avengers. You mentioned all the horrible reactions out there, but anyway, she won't be right. But I just want to bring that up just to piss people off.
Oh yeah. I know. It's going to be crazy. Commanding here with another super chat says sidekicks are taking over the Avengers. And you know what? Here's the thing with that. There's nothing wrong with that because the Avengers were all B-list people, all B-list players back before they were turned into the juggernauts that they are. And a lot of people tend to forget that. They tend to forget that the only reason why Marvel built up these characters the way that they did was because of the fact that they had no one else. And they needed to make it work, and Feige made it work. And now they have everybody. Now because of the popularity, they've been able to do it. So it's going to be very fascinating to see what comes off of that one here. All right, and then also, okay, make sure I'm good on that one here. Rational does ask a question: when does the No Way Home trailer drop? Do you know anything about that?
It was supposed to drop like weeks ago. There's been some concern about the release date with the Delta variant and everything, and so that's why it kept getting pushed. But I heard a rumor that it was gonna drop next week at CinemaCon, but it won't be available online. I haven't looked into it to see how legit that is, but you know what? It does make sense.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of I've seen some videos. I think like Heavy Spoilers was talking about that,
Yeah.
and a few other people were talking about that, and I was all like, I didn't watch any of that stuff. I was like, because I like Heavy Spoilers, but like I'm like, all right, I'll wait for it to, I'll wait for it to give me something that I can bite into. But look, you're telling me that people aren't going to fucking film it at CinemaCon? The Delta variant is raging through Vegas right now. CinemaCon is most likely not gonna happen, right? I would assume it's probably not gonna happen. They might be closed or whatever. They do Zoom calls or whatever. And if they share that privately, someone is gonna put it out there.
Oh yeah.
It's stupid to think that wouldn't be the case. I mean, that's just drop the fucking. That's what I don't get. Just drop the trailer. The movie's coming, or delay it and let us know it's delayed. But either way, give us something, because at this point, it's very terrible.
It'd be a real bummer if they have a trailer and there's like nothing in it, right? Just like you have to like Tom Holland comes out, just watch the movie. That's it.
Oh no! Did you see Grace Randolph get taken by that the other day?
No, she did. What happened?
She did. So when she was this is true. It's pretty funny. When she was talking about the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, someone had screwed with her, and they showed her. They did a teaser, and she believed it was real. Check that. This is the actual teaser. Right? That's not real.
Yeah.
That's not real. But like someone dropped it. It looks really good. And they dropped it. And that ended up really taking everyone by surprise. I thought it was pretty funny. While that was all thing happening, because it's just so funny that people were just like, oh my God, it's real. And Grace is like, oh my God, I'm going to cover it. And then everyone's like,
that's why I didn't watch the episodes. I saw all these different channels that had Spider-Man No Way Home official trailer.
Yeah.
Like,
they were just
punked by this thing.
They totally got punked by her. and it's really funny. Because everyone's so anxious for it, you can see it, but that was a good troll. We got Moisture here with the $5 super chat. Thank you very much, man. It says, if DC could attract Marvel talent like James Gunn, do you think that's the right move? I do think it's the right move to an extent, but it's going to have to be different content. They can't run on the same. You don't bring in, maybe that was DC's mistake, is they brought in James Gunn, who at the moment was like, remember, he was at the lowest point of his entire life. Not his career, but the lowest moment of his life. He thought he was done. He thought he was legitimately done. And they came on in and they offered him, they made him an offer he basically couldn't refuse. And then they still negotiated for the R rating, probably because they didn't want to be Marvel. Mm-hmm. But now they realize that, that like, again, they probably need to play those kind of games now with everything that's going on. I still maintain that if the COVID wasn't a thing, Suicide Squad would have done much better cinematically. And that's not.
I've been hearing that at Warner AT&T, what they're blaming on the lack of financial boom the movie had was the absence of Will Smith. That keeps being brought up over and over again. Is what if Will Smith had been in this film? Would it have played more for the general public? Because the first one, no one knew who Suicide Squad was. Like, hey, Will Smith is in it, right? And the other thing I want to bring up, Matt, there is a question of Margot Robbie's popularity. Is she that popular? That is being brought up now.
Yeah.
Because
I've
do you
that.
think? Is her following that huge? Because I'm wondering too, Matt. I'm wondering.
Well, again, everyone because coming on. Look, if you look at Suicide Squad from 2016, the movie did well. There's no denying that. everyone thought it was Margot Robbie.
Yeah, it is.
You know, like when Will Smith came on the scene and that first that montage of him with the guns,
Yeah.
I was ear to ear grin because I'm like,
Yeah.
this is Will Smith. Will Smith is
Yeah.
back. This
Yep.
is the guy that I love.
Yep.
And I was so happy with that. And that's still my favorite moment of that entire movie.
Yeah, same here.
But the character, the group aesthetic, was something that was more palatable in the 2016 version than this one. This one, they were kind of at odds and they were coming together as a team. Whereas in the first one, it felt like they were kind of maybe brothers in arms, and they were going into something, into the unknown, and they had to work together. And I think that was David Ayer also. If you've ever seen Fury, the tank movie that he did, with again, I kind of got a Fury vibe coming in off that. Which I love Fury. Fury was fantastic.
It's a great film.
And so like, I think like Gunn was trying to come at it from more of like these are people that just kind of generally don't like each other, and then working their way together. And another movie I might kind of equate this to is Despicable Me. Okay. So the first Despicable Me, Gru is an utterly abhorrent, terrible character. You shouldn't like the first movie, really, because he is so bad. But then in Despicable Me 2, now he's a father. Now he's a lot lighter. We've grown with his character. We've watched him go through that transformation. And now he's more relatable and people will find him to be more palatable. That might be something where maybe Gunn was trying to do that with this. Because if this movie was a huge success, obviously they'd want to do a sequel with these characters again. That would make the most amount of sense. And I still think that they want to, but they're just going to have to really find a way to kind of minimize the budget a little bit.
Yeah.
But and then you build off of that. Like, again, even like the thing with the first Guardians, it was, you know, the characters weren't a team in the beginning, but it was Gamora even likable in the first part of that movie? No, not really. Gamora, not really. You know, Peter, you liked him because it's Chris Pratt and he's funny, but you know, Rocket and Groot, Raccoon and Tree, okay, fine. But even Rocket was like, oh, you know, he's good, but they didn't really jive very well until right before the very end when they're talking about their plan. And he's just, you know, Rocket just goes, a bunch of a bunch of assholes standing in a circle or something like that. You know, and just like, and that line just kind of dropped and it was just really funny. And it kind of showed this unity because it's like, okay, we all get it. We're all in this together.
Yeah.
And then from there, they made it work. And I think he was trying to make it more edgier. But I really do think that as more people watch Suicide Squad multiple times, though they will grow a larger affinity for it. That's my take on it, at least.
Well, there are three things that have been brought up in terms of post autopsy of the film from people at Warner and AT&T that I've been hearing. Three things. Number one, the marketing. They feel the marketing just was not good for that film. That it focused on James Gunn, but your regular Joe public is like, who's James Gunn? You don't really know directors' names. They felt that was marketed too much.
Well, I think because they couldn't really rely on Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, they did say it. They did say it in there.
They say it, yeah.
But the fact is that, and this is kind of, again, the weird thing was saying, from the horribly twisted mind of James Gunn. And then I'm a James Gunn fan. I've defended his ass for the last 3 years. I have no issue with that. But I mean, I'm going like, you know, the horribly twisted mind of James Gunn is what got him in this situation to begin with.
Yeah.
Maybe not play that to that angle. Because
right.
you know, the people out there that are going to be pissed off at Gunn's politics, especially on Twitter, which he has calmed down quite a bit, by the way, but his politics from before is what got him in trouble. That's why he was targeted by the right wing. And it's like, those are the people that even Grace Randolph was like, when she covered him being brought back, she had made the comment like, well, Disney doesn't really have like the moral authority anymore. You know, and like, did Disney ever have like the moral authority or the moral high ground on anything? No. But it's like, she's like, but kind of like the magic was gone. Yeah. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me, because I'm like, okay. But I mean, I get it. Real quick here, because there's still more super chats coming in, you guys. Thank you very much. Lords of the Long Box, Tim here. Thank you, Tim. Says, Matt, why is your voice so sexy smooth? Because I'm trying to make you come, Tim. That's what I'm trying to do to everybody, not just you, but you right now, Tim. You. I want you to finish on this. Okay. No, Tim's a great guy. Check out Lords of the Long Box, man. we've been talking about getting something going on. He's hit me up wanting to do a podcast or a discussion, and I love Tim. So I would love anytime you want to talk, Tim. We need to figure out a way to do that.
Yeah, in regards to Margot Robbie, they're wondering that if she's, in terms of merchandising, she's really popular. But is she popular just for the merchandise, or is she popular as Margot Robbie? That's the question.
I really honestly think that if Birds of Prey would have been better.
Yeah.
And I blame a lot of the writing on that.
You're right. You're right.
I do.
The writing was terrible in that.
The writing was terrible. I mean, the movie was directed. Okay. The action, I like the action scenes. I rewatched the one with her in the police station yesterday, and I really, really liked it. I was like, oh man, like I need to watch this movie again because like that scene really worked for me. And but the problem though is that it was again like it was kind of like the plot was dumb. Some of the characterizations were dumb. I mean, obviously, I'm not a fan of the egg sandwich scene. I've been very vocal about that.
No.
But the movie. So the thing with this though, and again, she's been basically fucked twice. Okay. Yeah. So Birds of Prey came out. It did 400 million worldwide, but it came out right at the start of the pandemic, and so they pulled it from theaters when theaters were shutting down, and they dropped it on PVOD. And so it had already gotten kind of lukewarm responses, but the audience was going. And I think had the audience not been stopped by a pandemic, the movie would have gone on to do probably 600, 700 million, I think, which would have been respectable, which would have been very respectable. And then from there, it just kind of like it got caught up in COVID. And then obviously there wasn't going to be able to be enough hype coming off of Birds of Prey leading into Suicide Squad. And I think another problem with that too is that they didn't tie. There wasn't a cliffhanger at the end of Birds of Prey that would tie into Suicide Squad. And that is the problem. It's like, I understand this is kind of like its own little side mission. It's a bit of an Elseworlds thing, maybe, if that's how you want to look at it. But that was so fundamentally dumb on Warner Brothers' part that they fucked with that cliffhanger shit. And you don't do that when you're trying to establish this to become must-see TV, you know? Yeah. And that's what Marvel's like. There's, you know, they have post-credit scenes on their TV shows, for crying out loud. So it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
anyway,
we wait for them to show up. You know?
Oh yeah, I know. It's nuts. Okay, I know you only have until around midnight, so I know you don't have a lot of time left. So I'm trying to get through everything here, but thank you very much. McLeod here, 10 Canadian. Thank you so much. Says completely off topic, but have you all seen those robots from Boston Dynamics doing parkour? Skynet knows parkour now. We're boned. Also, Fury was good. It gave me PTSD. I have seen the Boston Dynamic dogs. We're all gonna fucking die. Have you seen those Boston Dynamic dogs?
No, I haven't. I gotta look them up now.
They look like headless dogs. They're headless dogs. They're robots. They don't stop. They don't sleep. You know what I mean? And then what was it? Season 3 of Black Mirror had an episode all about those dogs, and that shit like it causes anxiety.
Yeah, create some T1000s for us.
Oh no, you gotta watch that episode of Black Mirror. It's all in black. I think David Gordon Green directed it. And you know, I think he directed it. And but like it's fucking nuts, man. You gotta check that one out. Thank you for that, McLeod. Appreciate it. Rail here with $5 here. Says Harley Quinn's booty shorts also helped the 2016 Suicide Squad box office. Oh yeah. I mean, coming off of, you know, look, I try to not oftentimes comment on women's bodies. I try not to do that. Margot Robbie is one of those women that is like so attractive that sometimes it's just, you can't look directly at her. It's like looking at the sun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like the booty short stuff. I know she wasn't a big fan of that because that's kind of exploitative a little bit, but that was something that it sells, man. You know, I remember watching Wolf of Wall Street for the first time, and like when she opened the door and she came out, I was like, you know, and my girlfriend's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, rewind, you know. And we were in the theater, and it was very awkward. But so yeah, that's.
The popcorn's rising up, you know.
Yeah, you're like, I'm good. Look away. You want butter? Maybe some cream. Oh, this is. This is what happens when it's late and I have a lot of caffeine in me. Rel here says we all had that reaction. No, 100%. All right. So let's thank you guys for the super chats. Keep them coming if you guys want, but we're gonna get into the voicemails. We'll do a couple of voicemails here real quick. Let me just pose a question to you guys while I get everything prepped here. I wanted to ask this earlier, but I totally forgot. So which movie is better, you guys? Which movie is better? Is it Logan, or is it Batman v Superman? That, of course, is the question of the night here on Hollywood After Dark. Which movie is better? Let me know in the comment section on the video or here in the chat, and let the fight begin, because obviously my money's on Logan. I love BVS, but Logan is Logan.
Logan is a classic Western. It's like The Unforgiven, you know what I mean? It's just that great of a movie.
Oh, yeah. Logan is, people are like, it's not fair, Matt. It's not fair, guys. All right. We have actually got quite a number of voicemails. So there's let's get through this one here. The first one is coming in from Mad Max the Mandalorian. And be sure to, if you let me know if you can hear this. If not, I'll fix it. But I had trouble last night. It should work now.
Okay.
So let me... yeah, it's okay. It's there. All right, let me know if you can hear this.
Hey, Mikey and Matt, long time no see.
Can you hear that?
Thanks for coming on the $3 Theater, Mikey. We really appreciate you giving your time.
Yeah, can't you speak a little bit louder?
Fortunately, I can't make it any louder.
Okay.
It's going to be legit. I think it's going to be the strongest after the pandemic. I see a lot of buzz. The action looks amazing. What are your predictions for Shang-Chi opening weekend?
All right, so he's asking, because I was on...
also released the air cut. Bye.
All right, thank you, Max. Yeah, I know. So I wish I could make it louder. I don't know how to make... I got to figure out how to make it louder for this thing. But so he's basically asking, like, what do you think the predictions are going to be for the opening of Shang-Chi? Is it going to be a box office smash?
So what I heard last time, and it's a really long range at this point, I think they were predicting like around 30 million or so. I'm going to say 50 because I think the hype is real. I think the hype is from the reactions that we're getting right now. I think the projections that we saw were from those trailers, and I think right now the reviews are really going to hit this film home. There's going to be more TV spots that'll be coming out that I think that'll have a better representation of the film. But again, it depends on that fucking Delta variant, man.
Yeah. Well, again, with the screenings tomorrow night going on, the surprise screenings tomorrow night, we're going to get a lot of people flooding the theaters, and that's clearly a marketing tactic.
It is.
And we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. So, all right, thank you very much for that one, Max. Let's see here. All right. Hold on. I just got to double check one thing. Okay. So, what I'll do, Mikey, just because I think part of it was your background noise might interfere with this. So I'm just going to mute you while it plays, and then I'll unmute you.
Okay, yeah.
All right. We'll just do that real quick, and then that could help out. All right. So this is coming in from the 404.
Hello. I'm Nehemiah. I'd like to ask some questions about Secret Wars. I'm really excited, so I just want to know, like, when do you expect Secret Wars to come? How close are we to that big endgame level event again?
Okay, I don't know if you heard any of that or not. That was really low. That was even low for me. I'm like, that one, they were asking about Secret Wars and when we might see it coming out. You said earlier about 10 years.
Yeah, that was the original plan, but it's not going to be 10 years anymore. And not with all these Disney Plus shows that are coming out. Then again, see, the other factor is the whole Delta thing, and I don't know if anything worse is going to happen.
Mikey Sutton here.
Yeah, with any luck, we'll get some more ideas. I got to be able... Is there any way I can make this louder? I really wish there was a way to make this louder. It may not, because this one might be kind of low. So we'll give it a shot. If this one's as low, I might just have to, like, not play him. I'm sorry, guys. I know you called in, but if it's low, we can't hear. All right, let's try this this next one here. Hold on, I lost it. I lost where I was at. Okay. All right, Mike, I'm just gonna mute you real quick, and then we'll go do this thing. Okay.
Hey, Matt Jarbo and Mike Sutton here. This is Gallery Productions here. So I actually wanted to talk to you guys about this certain rumor going around here, and it's actually from probably one of the least credible sources in.
Oh, okay. This is we already answered this one. This one was super chat that he had sent in about Bob Chapek and Kevin Feige and stuff. So I can see a transcript. I just didn't read it until now. No, thank you for that. Yeah, we already answered that one. Obviously, no, they're not gonna get rid of the goose that laid the golden egg. All right, let's see if this is from RJ. Fuck it, hold on, RJ, dude, RJ, ask your question.
All right. So, Mikey, my question is Man-Thing coming to the MCU? Is that actually happening?
Yes, definitely. Cool. Yeah, he's going to be part of Midnight Suns, or it, whatever you want to call it, Ted Wallace. And he was one of the original four Hulu projects that Jeff Loeb wanted to do. Feige took over Marvel TV and never got off the ground. But yeah, Man-Thing is definitely coming. And it'll be funny if Man-Thing arrives before DC is able to reboot Swamp Thing.
Yeah, is that concern both of you guys that Marvel's moving so fast that it feels like DC's so far behind? And regards to, all these
it's been like that for years.
No, I know, but it feels like it's getting worse though. Like they're doing Man-Thing, but no Superman sequel, no Man of Steel 2, no movement on another Justice League movie. Like, come on,
Well, they took such a huge bath on Justice League, both versions, to be honest with you, that they probably they're taking it back and they're gonna start coming at it from lower budgets perspectives, and that is gonna the thing with the lower budgets is not necessarily production cost, but it's really the cost of the actors, and that's like the big thing. Like, people don't, when we talk about the Snyder Cut, which I'm not trying to really, when we talk about that, like, for going forward with it, it's like, how much is it going to cost to get Ben and Gal and Henry and Jason and Ezra and Ray? How much is it going to cost to get them back? Right? How much is it going to cost to be able to pull that one off? Especially, and so where it's like Marvel for Infinity War and Endgame, the rumored budget for both films was $1 billion. Because of paying Robert Downey Jr. and Scarlett Johansson and Chris Evans and
a lot of actors,
and paying salary. And this is, again, as the movies increase more appearances. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. made like $40 million for being, I think, on screen for 23 minutes of like Spider-Man Homecoming.
Which is crazy to me.
But he gets a back end deal too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but it's
Secret Wars is going to be even bigger. If it's as big,
it's going to be insane. But again, they invested that money into those two films, and those two films pulled in nearly $4 billion, or I think over $4 billion. Never mind the merchandise,
the merchandising, all that stuff.
The home video sales. I mean, and it's worth the investment for them to do so. DC is not in a position to be able to invest that kind of capital, and I know we have friends who like to sit there and say that they do. They don't. And they'd be better off probably doing smaller, lower budgeted content like Batgirl and like Blue Beetle on HBO Max. Things that are going to be, profitable and also smaller in scale. And then build up from there. If they're smart, they'll build it. But if they're trying to rush it, they're just going to fuck themselves.
So that's the problem. They keep rushing things,
I know.
It's really bad. They rushing, but yet they're behind. Isn't that ironic, right?
Yeah. Real quick here, command unit here with the 6 shekels. Thank you. It says Major Grom had a good end credit scene. I know you can't, still need to watch it. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to watch it. It's been so insanely busy. But I do appreciate that one. I need Major Grom. He wants me to, or no, Major Grom is a movie on Netflix. It's a Russian superhero film.
Oh, okay.
So got to check that one out. All right, let's see if I can get one of these to work here. All right, there is RJ's. All right, here's AJ. Let's see if we can get AJ to work.
Hey, Matt. It's AJ. I was wondering, could you ask Mikey if there's been any new developments on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. returning and the returning cast? If not, that's good too. So, peace
Oh,
out.
my favorite topic, Agents of Shield. God, man, everybody knows I had Chloe Bett on my profile photo for like 6 years on my Facebook. Um, so let me take you back a couple of weeks here. We ran a story because she left the Powerpuff Girls. Just out of nowhere, just like quit. And
Yeah.
the timing of that was suspicious because Secret Invasion is filming this month. And all of a sudden she goes to Powerpuff Girls. So there have been endless rumors. Actually, I scooped Chloe Bennett on Secret Invasion months ago. This just adds to just gasoline to the fire, right? And then Elizabeth Henstridge had this little teasing emoji that she's in Secret Invasion just recently on her Instagram.
Well, plus she also I saw something about that where she had just bought like a new house in Atlanta. She moved to Atlanta and then she had to like go to London for something.
Yeah, where they're filming Secret Invasion.
Where they're filming Secret
Invasion.
Invasion.
What about Clark Gregg and Ming-Na Wen? Do they come back?
Yeah, Clark Gregg is going to come back.
Okay.
I would hope Coulson would come back in some form.
I want to
or
see
another.
more Melinda May though. I want to see more Ming-Na
Fennec Shand. You got Fennec Shand.
Yeah, she's all
Get
out
more
on
Fennec
Star
Shand.
Wars,
Oh, but I did real quick. This is the thumbnail that I made. I found this Agents of Swords. This is from 2 years ago.
That takes me back in time.
Oh yeah, my very shitty thumbnail. I'm terrible with thumbnails, but that we did that from 2 years ago. And although, well, this is a good looking thumbnail. So you know, it might get some clicks. It might get some good clicks. Oh wait, why the hell did I click on that one again?
That scoop needs to happen already.
It's like the Lando TV show scoop from you gave me later on in 2019, and then I'm the first person on YouTube to report about it. Yeah. And then like I think what was it? Kessel Run Transmissions reported. Everyone's like they're talking about it. I'm like, fuck, I did it first.
That was my first exclusive to you too. I didn't have a website back then. I said, "Hey Matt, I'll give you this one. You're a Star Wars fan." So.
yeah.
As soon as I got that officially announced, so it's like, whoa.
You know what I want to know? What the heck's going on with Adam Warlock? Is he going to be in Guardians 3 or what? Because remember they were like teasing.
Adam Warlock is all set for Guardians Volume 3.
Awesome. Okay.
They held off on the character because James Gunn wanted to be able to use him, but also.
Hey Matthew, it's me, Anthony. I know you're busy talking to Mikey right now. Shout out to him.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I hit the wrong button there.
But anyway,
I forgot that it was up.
That's hilarious. But there wasn't enough time to include him in Infinity War and Endgame, so too much backstory there. So that and the fact that James Gunn wanted to use him as well. So.
Yeah.
All right, real quick here, we got $2 super chat from Rational Skeptic here. Mikey, what universe is Sasha Calle's Supergirl from?
What I heard is she's from Michael Keaton's world.
That makes sense.
So they're gonna like make Christopher Reeve in Michael Keaton's world? Like that's like a daughter? Like
that was no, that's already been, if I recall correctly, Keaton confirmed that, or it was confirmed by somebody recently that Superman and Batman did coexist. Those films were kind of interconnected, same universe, even though they weren't connected.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what I thought I heard. Again, sometimes this news, it flows by so fast.
Oh God.
I'm not too sure. So that's what I've heard. Because if that's the case, that makes the most amount of sense. And we did see the shots of her in Gotham at the same time. Keaton and Ezra were outside. Those outside shots were on the same day.
Yeah.
So when she was in The Wire,
it's like the end of the movie too, which is like, wait a minute, that's the end of the movie. Like, is the 89 verse the main continuities emerging with the main DCU? Like, what's going on?
I don't know. We don't even know who the villain is of this movie, right? Is it Reverse Flash or is it Ezra Miller? God, I hope that's not true.
It's Ezra Miller. Yeah. It's
wait. Well, is it Ezra Miller for majority of the movie, but they reveal it to be Reverse Flash at the end? Like it's actually the Reverse Flash.
If it's like, I mean, but is it Eobard Thawne or is it like another
No,
Is it like another variant of Ezra or Barry?
It's a variant of Ezra, yeah.
That is so dumb.
Yeah, so
That's so dumb.
Why not
It's like
make a
here.
Reverse Flash?
Well, maybe it's an agent of Reverse Flash. I don't know. Maybe it's an agent. It's gonna be it's another
Does
they'll go to another
Reverse
multiverse.
Flash like disguise himself though or something? Like that's what
Yeah,
I'm
well he
wondering,
can, but it's like if it's not actually him and it's just another it's the version of Barry from that world. You know what I mean? Like if he goes through the Speed Force and ends up in 89 Batman's Gotham and that Supergirl is there clearly would be a Barry Allen. And I think there's been a shot of him meeting himself, like meeting his variant. And so that would, again, and this in the process. Yeah. I mean, the way they kind of do this stuff is they always kind of establish like who the villain is in these kind of movies. Like, I mean, go back and watch, the first season of The Flash. Tom Cavanaugh was Reverse Flash. Right. And then it's like, oh, okay, I mean, but you already had, they do this in movies where they introduce the bad guy for a later reveal. The idea there is to go, I had no idea that it was him. Like, no, this is
a classic Flash villain, Captain Cold, Mirror Master, for God's sakes. I mean, who wants, unless it's like a really deep philosophical, like horror take, which I heard they kind of want to do, maybe that could be interesting, but like, why don't you use like a classic Flash villain?
Laziness. They've already spent their budget on Keaton and Affleck. They're like, well, we can't afford anyone else big.
Well, let's not forget who wrote the script, Matt. So, your favorite Christina.
Yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion that Christina Hodson is remember Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark? She's like the lady who's behind that. She doesn't understand the source material. She wants to put her own spin on it. Like she
self-inserts everything.
Yeah, self-inserting, like twisting it to be like what she wants from the source material, not actually making a proper representation of it.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense there. I guarantee you,
a mind-bending twist to have an evil
but she said she was Robert Pattinson's like babysitter when he was a kid.
What?
Yeah, she said that at Fandom last year. She made that comment at Fandom when they were talking about the Flash movie. And so it wouldn't surprise me if, like, they're trying to figure out how to bring over Robert Pattinson's Batman into this world as well. What if that's the big cliffhanger at the end there? What if that's the big thing? Because we're going to have the Batman coming out before the Flash. What if they're like, let's do that. Let's fucking do that.
I want the Pattinson stuff to be separate, please. It looks so good. Don't mess with it. Please don't.
This is Warner Brothers we're talking about here.
I know.
Do you have any faith? Do you have any faith?
No, because I thought Matt Reeves threatened to leave unless they left him alone. That was the deal that he made.
That's a rumor. I've heard that rumor too. But then again, also Zack Snyder said no compromises, and he compromised on multiple things.
Yeah.
For the Snyder Cut. This is all Hollywood talk, man. Look, the people who cut the checks are the ones who ultimately have the power. All right. Like, that's a lot of it. And I'm sure they're not, Warner Brothers was normally the studio that was meant to kind of be there for, the filmmaker and like really work with the filmmaker. But that even then, that's kind of gone now because, they've definitely corporate under AT&T. And again, I don't see Zaslav as being that guy. Look at the content Zaslav oversees right now. Do you really think it's going to be like high concept, high budget stuff? It's going to be Dr. fucking Pimple Popper, the movie, because they can score an easy $100 million off of a $2 million investment. It's going to be like Southern Fried Homicide coming to your local theater, that they just spend $20 in a jawbreaker on to produce. That's what they're going to do with it.
I'm just worried about the screenwriter of The Flash. I'm just like, that doesn't fill me with any faith whatsoever.
Still here. Zaslav's inherited high budget stuff now. Come on, man. Come on, Sil.
Still awake? He's still awake?
He's still awake. He's in here. Mikey's been dropping scoops. Geek Street's over here, bitch. Geek Street's over.
He's like, damn it. Mikey, you're supposed to say these for my show.
No, but he does make a point here with Game of Thrones. That it is true. Because that's a proven fucking moneymaker. At this point, DC ain't really that proven of a moneymaker.
House of Dragon's going to be big for Max.
It's going to be huge for that. But then again, like, as long as Casey Bloys is still in charge of HBO, there might be something there. But again, I'm under the belief that Hamada ain't going nowhere. I know that people don't want to hear that, and Mikey, you've tried to shut me down on that one.
Well, you see, all I have to do is be quiet, and tomorrow I will hear it from people. Like, hey, how come you didn't say anything against Matt last night? You know?
I know. Like, what?
Oh, jeez.
What?
Poke the bear video.
Oh, that was funny.
Oh yeah, I already got feedback about that today. Like, hey, can you come on?
The video has been seen like literally less than 200 times.
Well,
It's got like literally less than that, and people are like super upset.
There's
that
like
I'm like,
3 or 4 people I heard from already. Like,
none of you have seen the guy act, and yet you're like, make him Green Lantern. Do it now. And like, but you've never seen the motherfucker act.
It's about faith.
Oh no, you don't cast a role like Jon Stewart on faith. All right, like you don't. They go through studio vetting. Oh my god! Didn't he say last night on the stream that he's done mostly audiobooks? All right, like like if you look at he's been in theater for a long time, but like the stuff that the studios are going to look at to cast a role like this, there are screen tests. There are there's other avenues here. Like, dude, he had to shoot. He couldn't even do it SAG. He couldn't even do it union. And the thing is, those guys have to live and operate by the union. If not, they run the risk of blacklisting. So he shot this uncredited cameo that was meant to be as an insert to get in as a request, but there was never any official, like anything official. I guarantee it. I guarantee you, the most he signed was an NDA to not talk about it, and even then, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Jon Stewart is going to become one of the most important characters for DC films to cast. I mean, he was DC's first black superhero, and of course,
I could see
post Black Panther.
I could see like the whole, Michael B. Jordan Superman thing falling through, and then them going like, "Yo, you want to do Jon Stewart?" And then having that be a thing, right? Or like John Boyega as Jon Stewart, right? Like that could be a thing. There's anyway, I see we've been joined by a guest in the back room, but I'm not bringing her on just yet. So Saggy, you're in bed. I don't want to hear your shit. No, I love you. Rel here with $2 asks, does Evil Barry choke slam his fans in the
Oh God. Don't give Christina any ideas now.
I gotta give them the credit. They never addressed it and people forgot. That was smart of them. They didn't even address it once or make any comments about it, and everyone kind of forgot about it.
Does this mean that Barry is gonna kill Barry's mother?
Barry. Yeah. Evil Barry Allen's gonna choke out his mother.
I mean, they could really explore some real like Oedipus style shit there. You know what I mean? Like he kills his mother, but he wants to fuck his father.
No.
Right? I mean,
No.
I'm just saying. You know what? Let's throw caution to the wind. Let's just flip the table over. We're gonna flip the script. These are gods amongst men, right? Oftentimes Greek tragedy follows. Why not make it as Greek as humanly possible? And by that, it's also what you refer to eating someone's ass like. That's
it's
called
a film,
going Greek.
It's a film for children, though.
Is it?
DC Films presents Fuck Point.
Have you not? DC Films presents ass eating.
We go full of incest,
Oh, there we go.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe the Harley Quinn show should just make an entire episode dedicated to like DC porn, like Batman and Catwoman.
All right, we're getting some people popping in the back room that should probably be in bed by now.
There's a
so hold on.
There's a post credit where Amber shits the bed.
Aquaman 2 post credit scene.
That'll be called Flush Point.
Flush Point. Oh, fuck off, Mikey. Oh, womp 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 womp. Those are my kind of terrible jokes. All right, those are my terrible jokes.
Dead jokes. Dead jokes for
That's,
dead.
yeah, flush point. There we go. That's actually really good. I'm not gonna lie, that's really funny. And I actually saw a picture tonight on Reddit where someone was like, "Hey, like let's petition to change to replace Amber Heard with Nanawe from Suicide Squad."
I would totally sign that petition.
I would too. I would just, and not even because like I have any investment in the situation.
It's a love story between Jason Momoa and a giant shark.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hand. Wait, you want another hand job? I mean, what? Hand. Like, geez, the weirdest road trip ever. Anyway. All right. So we're here in Galia Productions here. It says, "Sup, RJ, big fan of your channel. Would be down to do a stream with you and Matt on my channel."
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm not
I
against
appreciate
it, man.
Thank you. Yeah,
And,
just at 500 subs, channel's been growing a lot. Thanks to everyone in the community, So
nice. Also, Rel here says Flesh Point. That's the adult version of of the shit, obviously.
No.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Nanawe with red hair. Yes. Fund it. Music Man here saying, "I would love to see King Shark and Aquaman." Oh yeah, no, totally. That would be great. I love to see. I want to see more King Shark and everything. So, all right, Mikey, we are getting close to the midnight hour. I know you can't stay too long. If you want to bail, that is great.
Yeah. Thank you all for having me here tonight and letting me crack my bad dad jokes. So
anytime. Masturbating dwarves, Flush Point. You drop the gems here.
So I'll be on Rogues Gallery with Sil tomorrow. We're going to talk about the Wayne T. Carr Green Lantern thing, and I'm gonna dedicate the episode to Matt, and Sil, if you're listening, bring out the bourbon.
I reiterate my point. You never seen the guy act. That's my point. That's my point. Congrats to him for having a new baby. That's a lovely thing. But
he said he'd love to talk to you, so
yeah, I'm always around. Just for Jarbo, that's right. Just but I preferred Mad Max's Jarbo Jerkoff Jamboree from the other day. So that was a lot of fun. Speaking of that, Mad Max and Saggy Melons are here.
Hey, we're gonna do our Legends Without Words being watched.
Hi, Mikey.
Hi,
Hello,
Mikey.
Saggy. Hello, Max. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing? Thank you for confirming that Matt is wrong about Shang-Chi box office. He's hating on Simu Liu online, and it's going to be the next big thing post pandemic. He's so thank God he's not like Grace doing the movie math and box office predictions.
Yeah, get it, Matt. Yeah. Oh,
hey,
yeah.
Green Lantern, yeah.
No, I
we have dance for super chats.
I was happy
there we go. That's
being part of the
twerk.
audience. I was happy being part of the audience, but Matt triggered me.
Well, I can only see Saggy now on $3 Theater now. She hasn't been on MME lately.
We're comedians now. No, I was in bed. I was trying to watch tight.
Hold on. And so Mikey, if you got to bounce, it's all good. Don't stick around because these. But let me just say here real quick, geekositymag.com. Check out Mikey Sutton.
Yeah,
great guy, great content.
Thank you, Matt. Yeah, I'm kind of everywhere today. So.
Yeah, no, thank you for 2 hours of your time. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. So Matt, next week we'll do Kathleen Kennedy. I mean, that sounds.
Oh yeah, we're gonna.
Oh, can I get an exclusive?
We're gonna make grown men cry. So, we're gonna do that one.
All right, take care, guys.
Good night.
All right, thanks, Mikey. Have a good one, buddy. Thank you.
You too.
All right, real quick, there was a super chat here from Command Unit that says, "I am more hopeful about a Russian superhero cinematic universe than DC getting their shit together."
That's more likely.
That's pretty accurate. That is pretty accurate there.
Hey, Saggy, that's great work on RJ's logo. I like it.
Yeah, it's really cool. I couldn't think of a better way to represent RJ. But I got a bone to pick with you.
Me?
No.
Oh, really? He knew who it was. Did you not see his
I know
face?
exactly. I'm not dumb. I see the image right there.
Please,
Maggie, do we like to fight right now?
Well, no, because
RJ
did a bad job because he was on that stream with Wayne Carr, and he didn't say it, and I had to come on because he didn't say it. So I don't know what part you missed, Mr. Jarbo, doing your little shuffle thing that you're doing, which is very, very adorable. But you do know that he had 15 years of theater, right? And so did Ray Fisher, and that's how they met. And Zach saw his roles, his acting experience, his resume, and that's why he was cast.
Okay, but also you're telling me that at no point in time was he friends with Ray Fisher that added to that?
Well, that also was obviously a contributor. But however, if Zach saw what Wayne was doing and he liked it and he cast it, and Zach trusted him for this role, then I think it's safe to say that Zach, being the one who casted him and hired him for the job, would say
he
that
also
he
cast
could.
Gal and Ray.
Right. So
but
I unfortunately agree with Matt on this one.
Did he actually cast Wayne? Because it wasn't. It didn't go through. No. Hold on. Again, as I pointed out, Wayne has got only a few credits on IMDb. He's got a demo reel that's a minute long. I think he's a fine actor. But when you are casting a role like this, you have to go through studio. You have to go through a multitude of executives. There are screen tests. They want to make sure that it's the most, that it is a very, very big role that can go and have legs. And so obviously they should have just allowed it to be in the movie because it was a dead end anyway. And that is, again, I think we at this point kind of realize that. But it's something that when I'm talking about this here is that Wayne was cast for this uncredited, most likely non-verbal role. He fit the physical description and he could act like they needed him to act. Since most of our communication, 90% is non-verbal, that's a lot of it. There's a lot that goes into it. Again, I am not criticizing his acting. At no point in time in my video did I criticize. I clickbaited the title a little bit, I'll fully admit. And I explained this to Enosh even last night too. I'm like, no. My comments were more about Wayne being like cast in this role from people who've never seen him act before. And the pushing for it by people who've never seen him act before. And I guess I know people like both the Zach did this, Zach did that. There were people that were brought in. Casting agents were brought in. Reps, talent reps were consulted. Deals were made. You don't bring in someone like this without there being the backing of the studio. And in this case, the studio said no. So there's no backing here.
Cool. But my thing is also, no. Because see, I love it when we disagree on something. You love it.
I'm like, here's a rational, well thought out argument to back up my point, and you're all like, cool story, bro.
Yes, you made yourself look bad there.
No, I didn't, because I have a counter argument. Shut up, RJ. You already failed this argument.
Let her speak for herself.
You gave up.
Counter me, baby.
I'm countering you. So my counter argument to that is look at all the actors that have no experience in acting that were chosen to do roles. Chris Hemsworth, and I know you did that argument, but here's the thing. Before all those movies that he did prior to being casted as Thor, he was a model, and he entered the world of acting. A lot of actors, look at Power Rangers. The original cast of Power Rangers were not actors, had zero acting experience. In the original,
that show was in the show.
But in the original 90s casting calls, because I remember them when I was a kid, because I wanted to be a Power Ranger. And I remember when my mom was like, oh, but here's the thing. They weren't looking for actors with experience. They were looking for gymnasts, and they were looking for martial artists. They weren't looking for actors. That's why the acting was pretty not that best, but that also paved the way for a lot of those actors to pursue actual other gigs in the future. Amy Jo Johnson, for example. Walter Jones, for example. A lot of them have gone very far from starting with no experience to gaining experience through these roles. So to say, and mind you, Wayne Carr has 15 years of acting experience in theater. So he has acting experience. Even though theater might be different as far as productions compared to movie productions, acting is still acting. He has 15 years of acting experience.
That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything.
But here's the thing. It does mean something, because think about it. How much money did they spend on Ryan Reynolds to play Green Lantern?
Way too much.
Right. And because why? Because he's Ryan Reynolds. So
yeah, they bought the star power.
Right. It would cost them less money to cast an up and coming actor like Wayne. And if he has that experience and he's good, it would have been a win for them because they didn't have to spend a ton of money. They don't have to spend buttloads of Ryan Reynolds money, Robert Downey Jr. money to cast him in the role. He has
no, they don't. But again, I understand your argument, but what we're talking about here are two different things. There is experience, absolutely, but there's also the system for casting and how this works. So you have to still go through like a director can find someone and go, I want you. Okay, cool. That person still generally needs to go and audition, and they need to get representation. They don't have it already. And they need to go through, again, the executives have to screen test them. They have to come on in and impress people. They have to go through all of this stuff. All right. So for Gal, before doing Batman v Superman, she was in three Fast and Furious movies. She was on Entourage. She was in the movie Night and Day. She was in a few other things. I'm looking there. She had an acting from 1999 all the way to 2016. She'd been in a show on Asfer, which I think is an Israeli show. She was in the movie Night and Day. She was in Date Night. So she had been in a few things. She had gotten her break. She had been in more stuff. Like I told you yesterday, Chris Hemsworth, they shot Red Dawn and Cabin in the Woods in 2009, before he was even cast as Thor. So he had, and Joss Whedon produced and co-wrote Cabin in the Woods. And that connection, in my opinion, is one of the things that brought Chris Hemsworth to Feige, because they were already getting ready to start working on the Avengers movies, and they needed a Thor, and this is a guy that kind of fit the role, and he was vetted by Joss Whedon and brought in. So, but then previous acting. Now Fisher, he's done theater. He had auditioned most likely, and he got the part based on the audition. Now I'm not saying Wayne didn't audition, but I'm saying predominantly my theory, and I don't know if this was countered last night. I was busy, but my theory is that, again, they needed someone who could keep a secret, who fit the physical description of the character, and that's it. Because they mocapped him. So he's in CG. They could literally replace every part of him. He just could have been a mocap actor.
I hope they would never do another CGI Green Lantern. That was just awful.
I'm saying it's like there is.
That was
no, I get what
that
you're
was
saying.
pretty bad. So
I
what I'm talking,
think that it's if you see an actor that you like. Here's the thing, Wayne T. Carr. Yes, he seems like a very down to earth guy and cool, and yes, people want him because first of all, we would like to see a John. Obviously, everyone wants to see John Stewart, the Green Lantern, because they just destroyed the other one. But anyways, I still think that the whole thing of like, well, why are Snyder fans wanting Wayne T. Carr? Well, he's an actor who has come out. He talks to the fans. He engages with them. He's built a relationship. Of course, they're gonna want to see somebody like that kind of get a good role and hope that he is good. And here's the thing. I know when RJ was saying hope, and you're like, oh, hope, but that's what I'm saying. Like overall, I think that's what bothered me with the statement of
to see the scene released. Is really what people want.
Right. And not
release the scene. Release the scene.
I think he would be good, and we won't know till we get it. But having fans want an actor or that they see play a role that they think that he will do well in is not a bad thing.
No, I'm not saying it's bad, but see, this is, again, there are people that are taking this massive defensive stance on my take yesterday.
I'm also a simp, though, so I mean,
you are massively a simp. That's okay.
Of course, I'm admitted simp.
I get it. If